Welcome to the Michigan Runner Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
From Michigan Runner, and with Nick Stanko of the Ann Arbor Running Company. And in this year of the pandemic, 2020, the Michigan Runner Race Series was run virtually, except for the very first event. And so, like everything else in life, for 2020 and going into 2021, a lot of changes. So, Nick, tell us how you managed to make this happen for 2020.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, we did have one in-person race for the 2020 Michigan Runner Race Series. That was in Okemos, Michigan, put on by Playmakers out there. Their Super Bowl 5K, I think it's the Meyer Super Bowl 5K maybe. So that did happen. And then after that, obviously spring, everything just kind of shut down and we just kind of held tight. And then probably, I can't remember exactly when, but sometime in the summer, I think we're like, well, let's try to do something. And obviously virtual races were happening and whatnot. So we just created a time trial, a solo time trial kind of format where people could submit their own times, and they had to be on Strava. That was one of the requirements. And as long as they submitted that, they got as many tries as they want. So that was fun too. Some people would try a distance more than once. Yeah, it was fun. It came down to the wire for the actual Michigan Runner of the Year award. Within the open men's categories, there were two guys going at it, and Matt Melvin and Alex, kind of the two of them. So yeah, it was good.
Okay. And I see that what caught my eye with the results, the masters, male and female, were had a connection
yes,
to each
yep.
other.
That was very cool. Dan and Lori Snyder, obviously, yeah, they kind of just kept on submitting their results, and that was fun to see. I'd get one from Dan, and then a few weeks later or something, Lori would pop up. So I was glad they got to do that, and they said it was a fun challenge and something they look forward to throughout the year.
Okay. Well, thank you for your efforts, and we look forward to the 2021 competition. And I'm going to go now and talk with the winners of each of the categories. Hi, we've got the male open winner of the Michigan Runner Race Series, Michigan Runner of the Year, and overall winner, Matt Melvin. Welcome. So I guess I probably said this, I don't know how many times, but it was a strange year. And of course, we couldn't do this quite the way we are used to doing it. Had to run virtual off by ourselves, except for the first event. And I suppose people had the option of doing that if they missed that first event at the Super Bowl 5K in Okemos. So I'll start with that. Did you run that one, or did you just run?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So that ended up being a pretty big key for the overall series, having those 16 points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a good choice to run it.
Okay. And then how did you go about doing the virtual? Did you just go out by yourself? Did you have running partners? How did you set up courses? Did you use existing courses?
So all of them I did on my own. I used Strava for the courses to try to find like as flat of a route as possible. When I started doing them, there weren't very many entries. So my 20 miler, I ended up running from our house here in Saline all the way up to Ann Arbor. And that included like four-way intersection, so I had some stops and some hills. So then when the results started coming through, Alex Russo posted a time that was like just faster. And I was like, oh, if I had just chosen a better route, then I might have had a chance. But yeah, just using Strava, map my run, routes that I was familiar with that I knew there wouldn't be much traffic, just trying to limit stops and hills.
Okay, and we'll note in another video is Alex's spouse who came in first open female, and he was second to you
Yes.
in the male division. So looks like some group effort. You also see that the masters, male and female, are a couple as well. So so tell us a little bit about your background, your running background, and your general involvement in the running community.
I've been running since the 6th grade, and I'm 29 now. I ran at Albion College, cross country and track, and then I joined the Playmakers elite team. I think it was around 2015 I started with them. So I've been doing races with them. We did like USATF Club Nationals, some of the bigger races like the Shamrock Shuffle. And then before the pandemic hit, I would do the group runs with the Ann Arbor Running Company, just trying to stay familiar with the local running scene. Yeah, just just trying to do it.
All right. Well, hopefully this year we'll actually get some real races. It might be the inverse of last year, where we have some virtual to start with, and then get actually on the roads at least the second half of the year, hopefully. So learn not to count on anything. Like I said, there's these mutations coming about, and things may be upside down again.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So anyway, congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you out there on the roads this year.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Now we've got the Women's Michigan Runner of the Year, Female Runner of the Year, and winner of the Michigan Runner Race Series, Kaylin Russo. Welcome.
Hello.
And well, as I've said with everyone else, strange year that we had to do pretty much all the events, save one, virtual. But people got to using software, plan out their own course. And the one in-person race, the Super Bowl run up in Okemos, 3 of the 4 awardees didn't make it to that one. So tell us what you did do and how you did it.
Well,
your events.
So definitely, like you mentioned, it's been a really strange year, and we were so excited to see that Michigan Runner Race Series was having the Run Solo events. So my husband and I, we really tried to get after it, and as far as like planning our routes, we live in Dundee, Michigan. And so we had to get pretty creative with like our mile route, for example. So there is like a lot of like crosswalks. So we had to like be cautious, that kind of thing. Cause you're hauling, you're really trying to make sure you're safe and still able to run a really great mile time. So we were helping each other out, staying at the crosswalk and like just saying like, hey, you're clear, go, and so I think my favorite distance definitely was the mile. We just made like a loop in our neighborhood, and it like started and finished close to where we live. And so that was really awesome. And then the 5 mile one, it actually started out more as like a workout, and it ended up being a really great workout. So I was like, ooh, this could be my time trial, for the 5 miler. So it was an out and back, and I mean, it started and stopped where it should. So that was nice. And then the 10 miler was sort of like a long run route. And again, it started and stopped in a good place, and it was a really great run. So I was like, I think this could be a great time trial, So, it was a really great motivator. I would say we really prepared really well for the mile. And that's what I prepared for. So I really enjoyed that.
But you did have the fastest time in all the distances you ran from the selection. So um, so you did pretty well in all of them, and all the ones that you ran. So certainly it was enough points to come in first. And we note your husband, right, Alex. He was second open and third overall, just the first Masters male. Beat him. And point out to you, since the Arbor Running Company took over the competition a couple of years ago, it's only been women who have won it. So yeah, this year you gotta get the honors back for the women.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think actually it might have been a Masters woman that won each of those 2 years. So okay, well, anything else you'd like to tell us?
Well, I'm just, again, I mentioned it was just so great to have this series. It really kept us motivated since there are no in-person races. I think a lot of people are feeling that it was a challenging year to stay motivated. So having so it was fun because Matt and Alex were sort of duking it out. And so say Matt would run his 10 miler and then Alex saw his time. He's like, oh man, he ran fast.
Yeah.
So just like that camaraderie,
Yeah.
yes, we were in person, but there was still that competitiveness, especially on the men's side. And then just to being surrounded by that, knowing I was in the women's field, it still created like a nice competitiveness to the series. And I think it's just what we needed. So we're really very, very thankful. So thank you for hosting this challenge.
And we have with us the first Masters male, Dan Snyder. Welcome.
Thanks.
And also, he is also the second overall for all the divisions if they're added together. And I think just 5 points shy of the overall winner. So, and as we've noted with all but the overall winner, didn't make it up to Okemos. So he did this all on his own, pretty much. I think you were saying when we were talking earlier that you went out and ran like 3 times with somebody else, but pretty much on your own.
Yep.
Despite the fact, as we will get to after talking with you, that your wife won the female masters. So
Yes, she did.
one of you was watching the kids while the other one was running, which I guess that does sound about right. Scott, that among the masters you have the fastest mile, 15K and 20K and 30K, and the second fastest 5 mile and 10 mile. So some pretty good numbers. Tell us about your runs.
Sure. Well, I'd like to thank Nick for helping put this together and kind of come up with some creative ways to motivate the running community this weird year. And so when he put this out there, I was all on board for it. I was excited to have another goal that was missing in the first half of the year, and so I was healthy and feeling fit, and every couple of weeks I would pick a new distance and kind of modify some of my normal routes to from home in South Line, and modified them to get the distance just right, and so I'd end up with a looped course or maybe an out and back type of course sometimes, and it worked out well. Had some good weather days, so I was fortunate there. And as the fall progressed, I would take a crack at some of the distances again and trying to improve the times, and was able to do that. So it motivated me from the time we started doing it all the way until the end of December.
Okay. Now, so you created all your own courses. You didn't use any race courses in particular.
No, there's really not too many road races in South Lyon, and then in my immediate area, obviously Ann Arbor. But yeah, a lot of courses where I just end up starting from home and just head out on a loop I was familiar with. And the 30-mile was something where I needed to get creative. Definitely had to scope that out a bit more, and just rather than do multiple loops of the same route, I actually went out and did one giant 30-mile loop, and it was great, and kind of fun to do.
Okay. Yeah, the one set 30-mile course that comes to mind is noted, at least according to the city of Milford, as being dangerous. So I guess you wouldn't have wanted to pick that one. Upset the city fathers as the race that they normally have there did, apparently.
Sure.
So that probably wouldn't have happened even if it wasn't for the pandemic, from what I hear.
Yeah.
So then your background, as far as when you started running, what schools you ran for?
Yeah, so I've been running since I was a child. Really, I went to St. John's High School, just north of Lansing, and ran track and cross country, and then went on to U of M and ran for Ron Warhurst there, and so had some good teammates there, and Olympians, and Kevin Sullivan, and some very successful runners that I got to run well behind, but to train with, and still good friends to this day. So that's where I happen to know Nick from. He was a couple years behind me in school, so we've been friends for 20 plus years.
Yeah, and
yeah.
again,
So,
he's a pretty good runner himself. So
yeah, exactly. So still kind of chasing him, and so just after that, most of the time, after school, just continued to run, and it's a healthy hobby and an enjoyable one, and a way for me up until to this year to kind of keep in touch with some old friends, some of my friends from college, Don McLaughlin, Dave Barnett. We would still get together on weekends, most weekends for the better part of the past decade, and go out for long runs together, and talk about how we were getting old, and starting to have families, and just keep up on each other, tell old stories, and real good time. And I think I'm fortunate that some of those guys weren't really as focused on running this year, because they're still fast and still pounding the pavement. We spoke earlier about Todd Snyder, and he's one that's a Masters now and still super quick. And Stephen Lawrence is another old buddy that has been pounding the pavement in the area, and he would have had a good go at some of these distances with me too, if he would have chosen to. So I guess they're not joining the series this year. Was fortunate on my end, but we would have had fun ribbing each other a bit.
Well, Nick had to administrate it, of course. He I don't think I mentioned in the segments that I did with him, but he won the Michigan Runner of the Year when Great Lakes Sports Publication was doing the administration, I think 3 times, at least twice. So I remember the shots we used. Is a lot of that was still in print publication days, and we had
Right.
actual physical publication. Uh, so so all right. Well, thank you. Congratulations. And
Yeah. Thank you.
like I say, we'd like to talk with your spouse now, who is the
All right.
first female masters.
Yep.
We now got the first female masters in the Michigan Runner Race Series. Lori Snyder, which, as I alluded to before, is Dan's wife. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, and apparently, just like you're running, you trade off the kids. One goes runs, the other watches, and then vice versa. So you didn't do
Exactly.
these, or I assume even much training together. Uh, Dan said he pretty much trains in general on his own, except for a few times this year, which I suppose a lot of people who normally run with people aren't this last year. So is the same for you, or do you have a partner? Or
I do. I do have a partner. I run with my friend Heidi. I do run with her frequently. But throughout the winter, I've just sort of been running by myself.
okay,
Dan has been awesome at planning me routes for mileage, so I would do that, and I trust his judgment on to where I'm going. And yeah, so for the most part, I run by myself.
okay. So the time trials were in fact all by yourself, and
Yeah.
as with Dan, as with Kaylin, you didn't do the one in-person race. You didn't make it there. So
Yep.
so which being it was the first one of the year, I'm sure a lot of people in the competition didn't make it. Um, so tell us about the courses you ran and your times and how that all went.
So the courses I would run, like I said before, Dan would map them out for me, and I would do those. Actually, a little funny story on my 10-mile run, I downloaded it to Strava, and it came out 9.99. So I had to redo that one again, and it was one of my faster runs that I've done. So I was very disappointed. And then next week later, I did it again and was basically right around the same time. I may have lost a couple of seconds or added, I don't remember, but it was fun. I needed that challenge. So
It took
it was
one turn a little different than he did when he was mapping it out.
exactly. Yep, exactly.
Did you figure out where that turn was?
No, I didn't. Well, Dan told me once I got home and downloaded and found it was 9.99. He's like, okay, you have until you go upstairs, take a shower to pout about it, and then it's done and over with. And that's basically what I did. So I was able to pout about it for a little bit and then moved on from it, and things worked out in my favor. Let's put it that way. So
Okay. Okay. Now, in general, what is your running background? What schools did you run for? Teams?
so I did not run for any school. I just
Okay.
started running. I shouldn't say just started running. I started running about 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago. I put in for the New York City Marathon, and believe it or not, got picked, and that was my first marathon. And then was hooked from there. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Well,
So I've run 10 marathons, and ran my last one 3 years ago, I believe it. Dan and I ran Boston 3 years ago. That was our last marathon together. So we do not run together. There's no way in earth I can keep up with him. So yeah,
Okay.
he runs at different time of the day. I run. Like you said, we switch off with the kids. So yeah, and it works. It works for us.
Okay. Well, New York and Boston are the kind of courses that, for the most part, will hook people.
Oh yeah.
You'd be a little extra sore after Boston because of the downhill, but
Yeah.
New York is just a party. Forget how many.
Oh yeah,
spectators, like 9 million
Mhm.
people along the course. So,
It's beautiful. That's probably my favorite marathon.
yeah, it's in there with mine too. So,
Yeah,
okay. Well, anything we're missing?
I don't think so.
I guess I don't know if I did say, and I'm going to repeat it if I did, that if we had a overall female, you would have won that. You would have beaten the open women, and in fact, you would have been the fourth overall for all four divisions, and quite a bit ahead of your competition on the female masters. I think about a half again the points. So, but then again, like I said, you were first in all the ones you entered. So,
No, thanks. It was
so
fun. It was a good challenge, and I'm thankful that Nick put this together. It was great. I needed like a lot of people with the races being canceled. It gives an opportunity to train for something, get out and do something, and just get going. And that's all we needed. So
well,
big thanks to
hopefully
everybody.
this year we'll get some real in-person races in later in the
I
year. But I know he is thinking about some uh, um, virtual option and probably start the year with that, and then see what races he's talked to race directors and set up tentative dates. But some of those races may not happen, especially earlier in the year. So definitely
right.
nothing in January. Although I think normally January and December is taken off the 2 years that they ran in-person races, and what the schedule was for 2020 were 10 races February through November. So we'll all see. I think we're all going to get surprised one way or the other how things turn out this year. But
Right.
hopefully we could all see each other in person again. I certainly miss photographing people. The weekends just seems weird. So this is nice to be able to do this.
Definitely.
But it's not the same as watching people run by me. So,
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
okay, well, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.